Alice was bored. She was sitting in her room, reading a book, when she saw a white rabbit run past her. The rabbit was wearing a waistcoat and carrying a pocket watch, and it was muttering to itself, oh dear, I shall be too late." Alice was curious, so she followed the rabbit down a hole. She fell for a long time, and when she landed, she found herself in a strange and wonderful world. There were talking animals, giant mushrooms, and a queen who loved to play croquet. Alice had many adventures in this new world. She met the Mad Hatter, the Cheshire Cat, and the Queen of Hearts. She had tea parties, played games, and solved puzzles. One day, Alice was playing croquet with the Queen of Hearts when she got into trouble. The Queen accused her of cheating, and she was sentenced to be beheaded. Alice was scared, but then she realized that she could just wake up and go back to her own world. Alice closed her eyes and wished herself home. When she opened her eyes, she was back in her room, sitting in her chair. She had learned a lot about English during her adventure, and she was no longer bored. Here are some of the English language concepts that can be taught through this story. Vocabulary: words related to fantasy, such as rabbit, waistcoat, pocket watch, hole, mushroom, queen, croquet, Mad Hatter, Cheshire Cat, and beheaded. Grammar: verb tenses, such as past tense, ran, fell, met, played, had, was, accused, sentenced, and wished, and conditionals: could, would, and should. Punctuation: use of commas, semicolons, and quotation marks. Reading comprehension: understanding the plot, characters, and setting of the story. Writing: writing a summary of the story or creating a character sketch of one of the characters. Here are some of the vocabulary words from the story that you can learn. Bored: feeling tired of something because it is not interesting or exciting. Curious: wanting to know or learn about something. Rabbit: a small, furry animal with long ears and a short tail. Waistcoat: a man's garment that is worn over a shirt and under a jacket. Pocket watch: a watch that is carried in a pocket. Hole: an opening in something, especially a solid object. Mushroom: a type of fungus that grows in the ground. Queen: the female ruler of a country. Croquet: a game played on a lawn with a mallet and balls. Mad Hatter: a character in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland who is known for his eccentric behavior. Cheshire Cat: a character in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland who is known for his ability to disappear and reappear. Beheaded: having the head cut off. Here are some of the grammar concepts from the story that you can learn. Verb tenses. The story uses a variety of verb tenses, including past tense, present tense, and future tense. For example, the sentence, "Alice was bored," is in the past tense. The sentence, "She follows the rabbit down a hole," is in the present tense. And the sentence, "She will learn a lot about English," is in the future tense. Conditionals. The story also uses conditionals, which are clauses that express hypothetical situations. For example, the sentence, "She could just wake up and go back to her own world," is a conditional clause. Punctuation. The story uses a variety of punctuation marks, including commas, semicolons, and quotation marks. For example, the sentence, "The rabbit was wearing a waistcoat and carrying a pocket watch," uses a comma to separate the two independent clauses. Reading comprehension. The story is a good example of how to use reading comprehension skills to understand the plot, characters, and setting of a story. For example, the reader needs to understand that Alice is in a fantasy world in order to understand why she is able to meet talking animals and have tea parties with the Mad Hatter. Here are some ways you can learn English with this story. Read the story aloud. This will help you to improve your pronunciation and fluency. You can also try to read the story with different accents, which will help you to become more familiar with different English dialects. Break down the story into smaller chunks. This will help you to focus on specific grammar concepts or vocabulary words. For example, you could focus on the verb tenses used in the first chapter, or you could focus on the vocabulary words related to animals. Write about the story. This will help you to consolidate your understanding of the story and to use the English language in a creative way. You could write a summary of the story, a character sketch of one of the characters, or a poem inspired by the story. Talk about the story with a native English speaker. This is a great way to get feedback on your understanding of the story and to practice your speaking skills. You could find a native English speaker online or in your community.